Morning guys, I'm George. Today's video, gonna go over some random thoughts. I'm actually taking an online course and it's taking up all my time, but I'm squeaking in 10 minutes to do this today. Okay, what I just played there, No One Like You, and I repeated the A minor, C, G, A minor a couple times, finished on that big F and the E. Then I strummed, exact same pattern for the chorus. Okay, so if you're an intermediate or beginner, there's some things that held me back very, very early on. And the first thing was I couldn't play songs note for note, and that really bugged the hell out of me. I thought, what's the point of even attempting a Leonard Skinner song if I can't do the solo? Okay, I was really, really big. And if you can, great. But if you like a song, at least learn the chord structure, okay? Because it helps you build a foundation. I'm not totally picky on playing songs note for note anymore. I just pick up my guitar and I have fun, right, with what I can do. But I compare the guitar journey to like building a house, okay? So what you want to do is you want to pour a solid foundation, okay? So you're probably in your building foundation years, okay? And then you put your frame up on the house. Then you do the intricate work. You drill the holes in the wood and put in your wiring and your plumbing. And then you can finish the walls and the roof, put up your doors, windows, get your flooring in there, and then your aesthetics, your fancy paints and your nice carpets, adding the fireplace, all that good stuff. But it starts with a foundation, because if you don't have a foundation, the rest of it's crap, right? So learn as many songs as you can, even if it's the easy form, because you can always go back and learn the solos as you get better, okay? Or learn the little tricks they did, okay? Do that. Also, especially for you metal guys, learn a couple easy 3-chord songs for the campfire, because eventually at some point you're going to be at a campfire, someone's going to hand you a guitar, and you can do something like I just did, No One Like You, or Bad Moon Rising, or Tom Petty's Free Fallin', okay? Now moving on to my next little thing is, when I play songs, when I learn songs in open chords, whatever, what I also like to do is I like to figure out the bar chords for it, so that I can see the patterns, because to me a key is a pattern, right? If you don't know your bar chords, power chord it. 6-string root, 5th string, 6th string. Okay. A great song, and get the easy, if you don't know this and you're still struggling on chords and all that, Hotel California teaches you the shape of the keys pretty good. And I'm going to play this easy chords. And what it does, it goes, the pattern is a 5-string to a 6-string, 5-string to a 6-string, 5-string root to a 6-string root. And then it winds up on a 6 and a 6, the turnaround. So power chording that. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, I smell the chili dust rising up in the air. Up ahead in the highway, saw a shimmering light. Head grew heavy and my heart grew dim. Had to stop for the night. Yeah, I really botched the words there. But again, 5-string root, 6-string root, 5-string root, 6-string root, 5-string root, 6-string root. And I just stayed on the dots, right? 3, 5, and so I started on the 7th, 5 and 6. Went to the 5th, 5 and 6. Went to the 3rd fret, 5 and 6. Then I stayed in the 6 and I finished on the 5 and the 7. Okay. Now I remember the song. So if I play, you know, on a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair. Oh, it's a, now there was a D. I smell the chili dust rising up in the air. Up ahead on the highway, saw a shimmering light. Okay, so because I know the structure with bar chords, it makes my open chords so much easier to remember because it's a little bit more complicated of a song. And then, and again, don't be afraid to try the little bit more complex chords in that song either. I mean, I know but I figured it out the simple version first. And now when I go back and I try to play, what do they have in there? From the chord chart I looked up, it went from a D sus second to an A9/C sharp. That was the 8-bar chord power chord I did. I'll figure it out. But if my friends come over or I'm at the campfire, I can do the easy chords. We can sing along. It's great. And then I can, when I'm at home and in the bedroom, I can practice the more challenging stuff. Okay. But I've got the foundation. I understand how the song works. I understand the key that it's in. I understand the structure it goes. Now, the other thing, so I started with my E chord here on the 7th fret, right? Starts with an E minor. Well, I want to learn, and I learned the key, right? I learned it's all kind of in these. Well, what if I started it up here on the 12th fret on the 6th string? So I would go E, then I would go 14th to a D, or to B. And then the next chord is D. Well, that's here on the 10th fret on the 6th string. Okay, so now the pattern is I'm going there to there, there to there, there to there, to there to there. Okay, so now I see the key from a different shape, from a different perspective, using different roots. So anyways, Hotel California is a really, really great song to understand your key structures using bar chords. And because I've got my favorite way of playing it, I can do it open. Last thing is, don't be afraid to learn some hard chords early on. A great one I learned was this B minor 7th. So when I, for example, in the key of G or E minor, Real quick, on the 4th string, on the 1st fret, you plant your 1st finger. Plant your next finger on the 5th string on the 2nd fret. You're going to skip a string for this finger and go to the 3rd string. You're going to skip the string and go to the 1st. So your 2nd string is open. B minor 7th, really cool chord. I learned that very early in my guitar playing days, and now I just, boom, like, okay, learn it now. I listened to a great interview with Randy Bachman of, BTO and the Guess Who, and he was explaining that, his guitar teacher was a really, really famous jazz musician back in the day, and they just happened to live in the same apartment building. So he gave him some guitar lessons, and Randy said, I didn't know I was learning really hard stuff. He was just teaching me the stuff and I was doing it, whatever, and he made me practice. And then when you get stuff like These Eyes, that's a jazz song, right? He's doing really complex jazz chords. Go learn These Eyes. Have a great day, guys. That's all I got for you today.